The reason I'm talking today is I've got a lot of people ask about gallstones and gallbladder issues. And a lot of people go in for gallbladder removal, which then you have no bile. It's a really dangerous thing to do to yourself when it's so easy to get rid of these gallstones. A little background. When I did my pre-flight and my pre-employments at NASA, I had to do physical examinations. They do a whole physical. And at that time, I was getting these sort of sharp stabbing pains that would kind of generate up through here and go for a while, then they kind of relieve themselves and go away. But when I went in for my physicals, they found that my liver was slightly enlarged, and that was, it's kind of really hard up into here, which is where your gallbladder is. So everything was fine, did all that stuff, went through all that NASA stuff, and went into aerospace and other things afterwards. And then I found out about a thing called a gallbladder flush. And this is pretty interesting. And although Filanov says that dry fasting will get rid of gallstones and that stuff, before I was into this therapy and methodology, I was introduced to a gallbladder flush, where you drink organic raw apple juice all day long, like a half a gallon of this stuff. And right before you go to bed, you drink a quarter cup of pure virgin olive oil and a quarter cup of fresh squeezed grapefruit juice. Drink it immediately, go lay down and go to bed. You'll be some gurgling and stuff, but in the morning, you'll be pooping out lots of gallstones. I had like 70 of these things. They were the size of golf balls, some of them. Mostly peas, a lot of other chaff and so forth. But that pain went away. And I cleaned out my gallbladder. And it's about that easy. You can go online and see these gallbladder flushes. They're very common. And I would suggest if you have these pains in here, try one of those things first before you go to the hospital. The other thing I want to talk about today is parasites. Because a lot of people are complaining about parasites, but a lot of people that have done their dry fast recognize that after a dry fast, boy, they got this clarity of thought. They feel like they're prescient, like they're clairvoyant. They have all these psychic abilities. And I would posit that when you get rid of your parasites, you're getting rid of chemical signals that affect your thinking. And people don't realize it, but every day you're in, you're exposed to them. They come in things you touch, things you eat, things you drink. And it's a common malady that human beings have faced on this planet for millions of years. It doesn't go away because we have this modern society. That's not how it works at all. The body is designed to deal with some of it, but others get in there and they just start feeding off of your food. So you'll end up with a big belly, you'll have very, very weight, and eat a lot of food, and it's like you have no energy, and it's this cycle of evidence of going on. So when you do a dry fast, what happens in the first 3 to 5 days is you take your body into deep ketosis, you haven't drank any water, and everything alive, including parasites and bacteria and virus and all this stuff, require water to stay alive. When you're not taking in water, you're not giving them any water. The water you're making endogenously is very different. When you turn off the water intake and you stimulate the osmoreceptors in the hypothalamus, it stimulates the release of epinephrine off of the adrenal medulla, which goes into blood cells, hits the fat cells, activates lipase to start cutting triglycerides into free fatty acids and glycerol, because you need plasma glucose to stay alive if you're not eating anything and drinking anything. And you need water to stay alive as well inside your cells. And that's the beauty in this. The water is created in the ATP cycle when the free fatty acids go into the cells, released from the fat, to make energy and water. It causes a positive pressure inside the cell to the outside. So less water inside the cell is flushed out of the cells. So you're flushing toxins and debris out of the cells. It's going in the lymphatic system. It's going into your bowel, and you get rid of it in urine and in your feces at the end of the fast. But what it does do is it gets rid of the parasites too, because they need water. So when you kill the parasites by parching them, and then you turn on your immune system, because you have a brand new immune system by 3 to 5 days into dry fast as well, the immune system goes in there and just wreaks havoc on their population. But that removes the chemical signals. For instance, when I first started dry fasting, I noticed that for some reason, after a dry fast, I didn't want any pastry. And I used to buy tons of this stuff. I mean, scones and cinnamon rolls and all this jazz and cookies and all this stuff. And I can't even look at it anymore. It's a total turnoff. Why? Because these organisms are giving you chemical signals that tells your brain to desire that stuff to feed them. You're being co-opted. You can go on TED Talks and see how all these things co-opt thinking and how these parasites get into other organisms and co-opt thinking. Same thing happens to you. You're an organism. So dry fasting was the most effective ways to detox, which is incredibly important on your first dry fast, because you're going to get rid of decades of debris that you can't get rid of normally during regular eating or intermittent fasting or OMAD or that stuff, because you're still eating. It takes 2 or 3 days of not eating to get into the cycle to get rid of that stuff. And that clears you out, but it also clears out your parasites. So when your parasites are gone, you have this clarity of thought, because they're not giving you signals and thoughts that are contrary to what you need to be you. So my suggestion is do a 7-day dry fast, enjoy the benefits of the detoxification, but you'll also enjoy the benefits of deparasiting yourself. Got to get rid of these invaders. You got to kill that voice, those voices, millions of voices. My analogy is, if you're listening to Eroica, Beethoven's Third in E flat, and it's going along just nicely, then a banjo player comes on stage. One banjo player might not destroy the orchestra, but a million banjo players will. And that's what happens to your metabolism when you have all these organisms destroying your symphony that you would call life. So please try dry fast. And if you have any questions, leave a message or a question after this video. Happy to answer them. And listen, I can hear the parasites. The fire department's coming to clear my parasites out. Yes, I'm outdoors. And I've decided maybe for the next few times I'll do my Between the Ferns videos as the in front of the banana tree video, since we're in a banana republic. Anyway, talk to you next time. Leave a message. I'll get to the answers. Thanks a lot. Bye.